If you're trying to learn trading in 2025, good luck. There's more free content than ever, but there's also less clarity than ever. You've got TikToks with Lambos, YouTube videos with zero real trades, and Discords charging $1,000 a month to teach you by copy-pasting signals. It's no wonder most beginners are overwhelmed, confused, and then quitting before they even place a real trade. But what if you could just cut through all that noise? What if you could skip the wasted months, fake gurus, and blown accounts, and actually start learning the right way from day one? In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I'd learn trading in 2025 if I was starting all over, with no experience and just a laptop. But now, why should you even listen to me? I'm not some hedge fund manager on CNBC, and I'm not going to flex a Lambo and promise you'll turn $100 into millions. But I'm someone who just a couple of years ago was at your place, who's put in the work, and has the results to back it up. I started trading at 16 years old with a $2,000 custodial account, and within the first few months, I pretty much lost it entirely. I followed Twitter alerts, bought into scam mentorships, and jumped into trades that I didn't really understand. I was ready to quit, but instead of walking away, I doubled down on learning the right way. I studied the best traders in the world, built my own trading system, and refined it over years of market experience. Today, I've turned that painful start into a strategy that's helped me compound over 1,000% of my account in the last 5 years, averaging over 140% per year consistently. Just recently, I've had 10 straight green trading weeks, and more importantly, I now mentor hundreds of traders in my community where we've generated over $500,000 in profits in just the last few months. I'm not here to sell hype. I'm here because I've been through it all, and now I help others shortcut the same journey. That's exactly why I feel confident telling you how I'd learn trading in 2025 if I had to start all over again, because I actually did it, and I still do it every single day. So here's exactly how I'd learn trading in 2025 if I was starting from scratch. The real problem in 2025 isn't the lack of information, it's information overload. You could spend 12 hours a day on YouTube and still be more confused than when you started. Some people jump from strategy to strategy every week, and others binge courses but never place a real trade. The truth is, if I had to start over today, I wouldn't even look at a chart for the first few days, because trading isn't about charts, it's about frameworks, systems, and discipline. So in this video, I'm going to give you the exact roadmap I'd follow today if I was starting from scratch, step by step. So there will be no fluff, no hype, just the real strategy I'd use to cut years of my learning curve. Part 1. Clarify your trading style before touching a chart. Too many beginners fail because they pick the wrong style. Don't start scalping just because TikTok says it's fast money. And don't try to learn options, forex, crypto, and stocks all at once. Instead, ask yourself these 3 questions. How much time do I realistically have to trade per day? Do I want fast-paced action or more thoughtful setups? And what's my emotional tolerance for risk? My personal pick is momentum-based swing trading. It works on stocks, which is the most beginner-friendly market. You can scan after hours and place trades the next day, and it works with any account size, it's low stress, and it has a clear structure. This is what I do, what I teach, and what's helped the most people in my community find consistency. Part 2 would be to set up your environment. So once you pick your style, your tools and setup should follow. Here's what I'd get. First of all, a broker. I recommend Webull or IBKR because they have 0 commissions and good feels. In my opinion, Webull is the most beginner friendly. For charting, go with TradingView. It's free, and don't waste time learning 4 platforms. For scanner, you can custom your own in TradingView, which is free, or you can have my own screener if you join our Discord. And I'd also get a community where you can ask smart questions. The goal here is to eliminate distractions. So set a clean workspace, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and treat this like a job. Part 3 is to learn the foundations, and this is where most people quit. The worst mistake you can do is to jump into a trade before you understand these 5 things. Support and resistance, trend structure, risk reward and position sizing, basic candlestick patterns, and breakouts and volumes. These are the core mechanics of all trading strategies, and without these, everything else is noise. You should spend 5 to 7 days just learning these. Rewatch the same good videos multiple times, and don't move on until you can clearly explain it to someone else. Part 4 would be to find a simple strategy and not try to build your own. So here's the core of what I've built, and this is what I use today. This strategy is a momentum breakout swing. First, you need to sky for high relative strength stocks with clean daily charts. Identify key patterns, so flat top breakouts or high type flags. Use the 10 and 20 SMA for structure. Place entry slightly above breakout level. Stop loss at the low of the day. Size using 0.5% to 2% risk model. And trim partials into strength, raised up to break even. Keep it simple, repeatable, and data backed, and don't try to chase every candle. Now, let's talk about the Monte Carlo simulation. This is where you actually see the long-term power of a consistent strategy. What you're looking at here is a Monte Carlo simulation, which means we simulated 1,000 trades using this strategy, repeated 100 times. Each run uses a different random sequence of wins and losses, which helps us see all of the possible outcomes, not just the average. So let's break down the assumptions and results. Starting capital is $10,000, 1,000 trades simulated, 100 Monte Carlo simulations, log scale, and perfect execution, so no slippage or mistakes. System stats, win rate is 35%, average risk reward is 3.5 to 1, risk per trade is 1% of your account, minimum equity observed is just under $8,000, average max drawdown 21%, worst max drawdown 38%, let's say, max consecutive wins is 10, and max consecutive losses is 28. So, what does this tell us? Well, the win rate and risk reward combo, we're only winning 35% of the time, but because we're making 3.5 more on winners than we lose on losers, this still produces massive long-term edge. The importance of risk management. You'll notice the worst drawdown was nearly 38%. That's real, and if you panic at minus 15%, you'll never make it to the upside. Imagine losing 28 trades in a row. Most traders would quit, but this simulation shows you could survive that and still grow your account if you follow this system. And lastly, the edge is real. So some runs of this simulation go well into 7-figure equity curves starting from just $10,000, but others take longer and dip more before recovering. That's just a part of trading. This isn't fantasy. It's not about winning every trade. It's about building a mathematically sound system, understanding its behavior, and having the discipline to stick with it when it's boring or painful. That's what 99% of beginners never do, and it's why they stay stuck. Part 5 is to paper trade with purpose, but don't get stuck. When you're just starting out, you'll hear a lot of advice like just paper trades for a few months. And while paper trading does have place early on, here's the truth. Most people use it as a crutch. They sit in a simulator for 6 months thinking they're making progress when in reality they're just delaying the real thing. Paper trading should serve one goal only, getting comfortable with your system. It's your practice field, where you can run your plays without the pressure of real money. But like a practice field, it's not where the actual game is played. So here's how I'd approach it in 2025. Pick your strategy, whether it's swing trading like I do and teach, or use another method that you've studied. Trade it in a paper account exactly as you would with real capital. Use real entry signals, set stop losses, define your position size, and stick to your rules. But don't just go with the flow. Every trade should be logged. What was your entry? Where was your stop loss? Why did you take the trade? And did you follow your rules? Or did emotions creep in? After 10 to 15 trades, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, did I actually stick to my plan? What mistakes did I repeat? And did my strategy behave the way I expected? This step is about building confidence and execution, not about trying to win. So yes, trade like it's real, but don't stay here forever. 2 to 3 weeks might not be enough, but once you understand your entries and feel like you can follow your rules under fake pressure, it's time to take the leap. Once you're ready, this is when you should go live. The truth is, paper trading can only teach you so much, but there's a massive psychological shift that happens the second you go live. And even with tiny amounts of money, like $50 or $100 positions, your brain will behave differently. You'll hesitate more, you'll feel your heart race when the price moves against you, you'll start second guessing the same exact setups you'll nail in simulation, and that's exactly the point. This stage is where you build real trading psychology, because now there's something on the line. But again, we're not here to get rich in this phase, we're here to gather real data. You're watching how your emotions show up. You're reviewing your actual feels and how fast you can execute with real money. You're learning what it feels like to win and lose real dollars. Aim to take 20 to 30 small trades using the exact system you practice in paper. Keep your size tiny. You're not trying to make an income. You're testing your stress and your ability to follow your plan. And this is important that you track everything just like you did before. So entries, exits, sizing, notes on your psychology. This becomes your testing lab. And every mistake you make here is a mistake you won't make when you start sizing up. This is how you build confidence and how you build consistency. Don't rush it, but don't fear it either. The faster you start engaging with the real market, even at micro scale, the faster you'll start building the emotional resilience that separates real traders from hobbyists. Then when you get comfortable using real money, you should start reviewing. This is where 95% of traders fall off. They don't review. Each week, sit down and ask, what went well, what didn't, where did I break my rules, and how can I make next week 1% better? Use tools like Google Sheet Journal, Notion templates, or even my trade recap PDFs. And you can also post your recap in a community because public accountability speeds up growth. Part 8 is when you level up with confidence. So if you've made it this far, you've learned the basics, you've paper traded with structure, you've gone live with small size, and you've built some confidence. Now it's time to ask yourself a real question. Am I trying to master this or just mess around with it? Because if you're serious, and if you actually want to get good at trading, not just flirt with the idea, This is where getting guidance becomes a real game changer. When I was trying to figure out everything on my own, I felt like I was constantly guessing. I didn't know if I was doing right. I didn't know if I was improving or just going in circles. The turning point was to get a real mentor. And keep in mind, I said a real mentor. So not some internet guru charging $2,000 for signals, and not a flashy Discord that just posts screenshots of green days. I mean someone who actually look at my trades, help me understand what I was doing wrong, and show me how to think like a trader. A good mentor does three key things. They teach you a system, not just random tips. They give you real feedback on your trade so you can improve, and they care. Like, they genuinely want you to succeed and to improve, and not just to keep you paying them. With the right mentor, you shortcut the learning curve by a lot. You avoid the biggest mistakes, you get clarity, and most importantly, you start seeing consistently a whole lot faster. And look, I'm not saying you need me to mentor you. I offer it and I do it because I know how valuable it was for me when I started trading. But even if it's not me, just understand how powerful real personalized support is. It's literally the difference between wandering in circle and moving forward with purpose. This is where you build systems and not dependence. This part is critical, and honestly it's where a lot of people get stuck. Once you've had some help, once you've learned the system and started to see results, you need to make sure you don't become dependent on anyone else. You're not learning a trade just to copy someone else forever. You're doing this to become self-sufficient. And that means eventually you must build your own watch list, find your own setups, size your own position, and execute confidence even if nobody else is in that trade. This is where your identity shifts from student to trader, from follower to operator. A lot of communities don't teach this. They keep you hooked on traders and constant hand holding. That's not mentorship, that's addiction. The real goal is independence. That's what I teach and that's what I live by. So when you think about your trading journey, always ask yourself, am I getting better at thinking for myself? Because that's the skill that will pay for your life. You want to be able to wake up, scan the market, spot opportunity, manage risk, and execute all of that without needing to check someone else's feed first. That's what separates traders who last from those who quit after the hype fades. And that's how you go from beginner to consistent to profitable. So how would I learn trading in 2025? Well, I'd start with clarity, not hype. I'd build a foundation, not copy someone else's entries. I'd trade small, review hard, and scale with discipline. It's not easy, but it's doable if you follow the right path. If you want that shortcut, that structure, and that weekly accountability, you can join us in the free Discord. And if you're ready to get serious, my mentorship opens the door to everything I've built, from strategy to indicators to live trade breakdowns and more. Check the links below and let me know in the comments what your biggest struggle is right now. I'll reply to everyone. And as always guys, lock in, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next one.